The waiting times in minutes for 16 patients at a dentist's surgery are recorded for a particular week on the following stem and leaf plot. So here we have week 1, and this represents all the times. So each number here represents a patient. So for example, this patient spent 5 minutes at the surgery. This patient spent 1, 2, which makes 12 minutes at the surgery. This patient here spent 2, 7, which represents 27 minutes at the surgery. This patient here spent 3, 2, so 32 minutes at the surgery, and so on. And here is our key, and we always have to include a key in every stem and leaf diagram. Part A, find the mode and the median of the data. So mode is the most common, and median is the middle value. So the mode is 12. We can see we have 2, 2, 2, and each of those 2's represents 12 because 1 and 2 makes 12. So the mode is 12. So the most common time spent there is 12 minutes. The median means the middle value. So there's a few ways that you can come up with the middle value from a stem and leaf diagram. Well, the first thing you can do is say, well, there's 16 patients in total. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. So we're going to go for the 8th and 9th patient, or 8th and 9th time. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 24. And then the 9th is 25. So 24 plus 25 divided by 2 is 24.5. So halfway between 24 and 25 is 24.5. So we had 16 patients. And if you have an even number and you divide that by 2, so dividing by 2 for the median to get the halfway point, we always take whatever value that is. So for example, this is 8, so the 8th, and then we take the next one, the 8th and 9th. Whereas if we had, let's say, 17, so if this was an odd number and we divided by 2 and we got a decimal, we would just round up. Now the other way is to take our values, the first and last value, and cross it off. So the first is 5, the last is 44. So then I cross off the first and the last again, then the first and the last, first and last, first and last, first and last, first and last, and you can see I'm clearly left with 4 and 5, which represents 24 and 25. So halfway between 24 and 25 will be 24.5. So the mode is 12 and the median is 24.5. Part B, find the mean waiting time for week 1 correct to 1 decimal place. So to get the mean, we add them together and divide by the amount. So if we add together all the waiting times, we get 363, and we divide by 16 because there were 16 of them, there were 16 patients, which gives us 22.6875. And rounding to 1 decimal place, we get 22.7. So it's very important that you round properly because you will lose a full mark if you don't do this. So if we want to round to 1 decimal place, we circle the first decimal place. This is the rounding digit. And the digit immediately to the right of that is the telling digit. It tells us what to do. So the 8 is going to tell the 6 to round up because 8 is bigger than 5. So a good phrase to use is 5 or more, let it soar. 4 or less, let it rest. So if it's 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, so 8 is clearly in that group, then the rounding digit, which is 6, rounds up. So it rounds up to 7. Whereas if the telling digit had been 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4, the 6 would have just stayed the same. So we get 22.7 for the mean. Part C. The waiting times were recorded again the following week. The results were 27, 23, 6, 15, 18, 29, 16, 17, 15, 18, 40, 32, 16, 12, 28 and 9. Show these results on the plot above under week 2, creating a back-to-back stem and leaf plot to display the data. Okay, so it's really important that when we draw out a stem and leaf diagram that the numbers are in order from smallest to largest. So what I would do here is I would start with my list and I would write it out again from smallest to largest. And also very important, what I would do is I would cross off each number as I use it so that I don't either use a number twice or forget about a number. Okay, so the smallest number in that list is 6. So I'm going to cross that off. Next we have 9. I'm going to cross that off as I use it so that I don't use any number twice or forget about a number. Next I have 12. Next I have 15. Crossing the numbers off as I go. Then I have 15 again. Then 16. Then 18. So make sure you're crossing the numbers off as you go. Then 18 again. And I just noticed that I forgot about that 16 there. And that's 17, so it just goes to show, very important that we take the numbers off as we go. So I've rubbed out both of those 18 so that I can do that other 16 and the 17. Then we have 18 and 18. Then we have 23. Then 27. Then 28. 29. 32. And 40. Okay, so now we can start to draw them into our stem and leaf. Now, really, really important is that the smaller numbers go on the inside. So the smaller numbers go closest to the stem, and that the numbers get bigger as we move outwards. So we know that already from stem and leaves that we would have done in junior cert. So notice here that the stem and leaf that was already given to us for week 1, we have 5 and 8. So 5 is smaller than 8. And the next line we have 2, 2, 2, and 3. So 2's are smaller than 3. Then 0, 4, 5, 7. So the numbers are getting bigger as we move outwards. Then 0, 1, 2, 4, 4. Again, the numbers are getting bigger as we go outwards. On the opposite side, though, on the left-hand side, the smaller numbers are closest to the stem. So these will be the smaller numbers, and they get bigger as we move outwards. So we start off with 6. So 6 just goes there beside the 0. And then 9. So 9 goes to the left of 6, because remember, the numbers get bigger as we go outwards. Then for 12, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, 18, and 18, we have 2, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 8. So again, notice that the numbers get bigger as we move outwards. Then for the 20s, we have 23, 27, 28, 29. So beside the 2, we have 3, 7, 8, and 9. Again, the numbers are getting bigger as we move outwards. Then we only have 130, so it's 32. So that 2 goes there beside the 3. And then we've only 1 in the 40s, so that's 40 itself. So that 0 goes there in front of the 4.